So, hello. So, this is the meeting about non duality. Non duality. What is non duality? It's just a word. Non duality is, in a way, it's talking about non duality is already complicated. It's this, it's just a cup of coffee. It's very normal. This is not talking about something you can read, something you can do. It's not about something. And that's strange because but normally we use that there's something going on and we have to deal with it, and how can we deal with it, and we look in books or meetings or everywhere in talking, trying to get what we think we have to do something for it. There's no one, there's nothing inside there. It's empty. There's this front, that's what you see, and that's everything. This is talking about really, really, really literally. So literally, we're not used to that. We are so strongly and all the time we are so filling in, assuming that it's about that, and there's time, there's distance, there's inside, there's outside. So when they're saying it's inside you, everybody immediately understands. But what is that? Inside? What is inside? What is you? There is no you and there is no inside. That's crazy because we're so used to that. And there's distance. Normally we talk about distance. And I have to look at my email, wait one moment. Oh, oh no, that's nothing. So distance and time is part of the story. Time we can a bit understand, but because in holiday we sing like, oh, the time is so strange and I don't know which day it is and all that. So in that way, time is already a bit like, yeah, is it real or is it not real? But when we're talking about time like before and after, then it's already something else, because that's so the normal way. There is, of course, there's yesterday or I was born or all that. It's only a remembering. Maybe not even a remembering, but really believe that when I'm have photos and my mother said you're born and I have born, it's the normal way of thinking. And this is talking about, no, there's only this. It's this. There's nothing before, there's nothing after. It's this. It's new. It's new. There's nothing going on about something else. That's we can understand with the abstract mind, with our brains. And this is everything. So it's not even a life of Roes is happening, because then you need time to understand that. There's no life of Roes. There's no life of anyone. There's no life of individuals. How do you say that? It's this. And this is not about Roes. Nothing is happening to me. Nothing is happening to someone else. It's what it is. So it's a cup of coffee. And that's everything. It's not seeing a cup of coffee. The cup of coffee is everything. And we are used that everything is related. It's related to me. It's happening to me. Circumstances are happening to me. Thoughts are happening in my head. There is no in my head. There is thoughts happening somewhere in space. Feelings happening somewhere. It's not mine. It's not in the body. It's happening. Feelings happening somewhere. So nothing is mine, and that can be understood. But when there's an understanding of this message, you could say, then it's understood there's no one, and then there's suddenly abstracting that there's no me, and then you can say, oh, it's what it is, or it's happening to no one. You can say that to yourself. No, it's happening, but it's happening to no one. There's no one here. But this is not a new belief or a new knowing or a clarity about what's going on. When there's a loss, when they're speaking about a loss, then that's everything is lost. It's also the clarity is lost. There's no knowing, no awareness. There's no Rose. So when there's Rose, or there can be Rose without a me, people think maybe. Rose without me. That seems like there's something going on and I have lost my me, something like that. It's a construct. Because when everything is lost, even awareness isn't there. There's no life of Rose anymore. Nothing is important anymore. There's no abstracting of what's going on. It's literally that. And there's no escape. When there's no escape, it's full on. But full on doesn't mean really full in that way, full on.
Mm.
It's full on can be in a subtle way too. It's everything as exactly as it is. So everything is already complete. There's nothing right or wrong. Everything is complete as it is. This is so simple and ordinary. You could say it's only a describing of what's going on. And there's nothing making it into something else. It's very literally that, what's going on. And it's like that. Even when there's seeing, like when there's me and then there's circumstances and all that, everything seems so real and solid, like the table and circumstances and streets and my house and all that. Even that it's an appearance. Nothing is real. It's an appearance of everything. It's just, you could say, energy, like a mirage in the desert. So nothing is real. You can see it as a table, and it feels like, normally you can say it feels solid, but that's already a construct, because when there's feeling, it's only a sensation somewhere. So solid is already abstracting it. It's a sensation somewhere. So this is talking about something that's really literally and very normal, very ordinary. There's nothing special about it. There's no one. There's no one. When there's no one, there's also no relation. So there's no relations. There's no relations with circumstances. There are no relations with other people, because when there's no one, there can be bodies, but there's no one in it. There are no individuals. That's crazy, because that seems like, oh, it's so much the normal way to feel or to believe. Not even believe. I think most people are just, it's just like that. And then there's hearing, oh, there in this message they can be hearing, oh, there are no problems anymore. Oh, me is the problem, and when there's no me, I don't have problems anymore. So I want that loss. I want that no me anymore. Because there's looking for something else. Me is always looking for something else. When there's, I am here and I'm living my life and it's not going the way I would like to be, or I feel not satisfied, or I would like it to be different, or I don't like it, or it's always something else. It's not satisfying. It's not enough. Maybe there can be a feeling underneath. There's always something going on. Can be like, oh, I'm not good enough. And that's coloring everything. So, and then when that's coloring everything, it seems like the cause of my feeling, my bad feeling, or I'm not enough, or it's because of something in the story, your mother, or circumstances, or education, or trauma, or anything. There's always looking for something which is the cause of my trouble or my not feeling good, and trying to heal it, trying to fix it, trying to do something with it. Because we believe that we are someone and we have a free will and choice, we can do something about what's going on. It's a misunderstanding. What that belief is so embodied. So you can't say to yourself, oh, I won't do that anymore. Yeah, you can say that, but that's just a saying. Everybody knows in a way, like if you say, yeah, I won't do it anymore, and the next day you do it again, or you eat again a lot of candy, or you smoke, or whatever. There's no one in control. That whole construct about thoughts and beliefs that there's free will and choice, and I have a choice, and I can decide what will go on. There can be that belief, and there can be those thoughts. They don't have any power. It's huge, that belief that we are doing it. And maybe if it's not going that way, we're deciding and it's not going that way, then it seems like I didn't do enough. So that whole belief, that construct is so convincing. There's no power in it at all. When everything was lost, it was suddenly seen like, oh my God, I did all my life. I did so much going on in the head, and so thinking like, oh, what I have to do, and this is wrong, and I should do different, and how to behave. And it was just a construct. It didn't have any power. Everything what was going on was already going on. It has nothing to do with me. There was already no control. That's huge. There can be a huge relief, but in the same time, it also it can be a threat, because that's threat. The threat is that it's not, that there's no one existing, that there's that whole identity that I'm living my life and I'm doing exactly what I'm doing, and I do what I want, and I'm very good in this or all that. That's lost. So we can talk about that. And we can talk about everything what's going on in the story. We'll see what's happening. I already see some people extra coming, so they saw the website. Oh, God. If you want to say something, you can unmute yourself, or you can type if you want that. Type in the chat. You can type something if you want that. I want to say to other people who are coming some later, I'm sorry. I did put the wrong link on the website, so I'm sorry. That's great you're there. So if you want to say something, unmute yourself, or you can type what you want, or just sit, fall asleep, whatever is coming. It's everything. So it's what's going on. It's already that. So this meeting has no function, nowhere to go. So if you say something or say nothing, it's the same. It doesn't matter. Everything is it.
Hi, Roes.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. Sorry. Hi.
Just a
Sorry. One
question.
moment.
Oh,
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. Hi.
yes. When my sister died, or
Mm,
my cat died, or my mother died, I cried.
mm.
Isn't a affect cause of affect? I cannot. I don't think I decided to cry or not to cry. Of course, it can. Yes, it was spontaneous, but isn't a cause and effect?
Yeah. It's so
It
normal
sounds
that,
so,
yeah.
yeah, so obvious.
Yeah. Well, that's because we live, when there's living in time, it's so the normal way. So the circumstances seem to cause emotions, or maybe thoughts seems to cause emotions, or because we live in cause and effect. So when there's living in time, then cause and effect is part of that. But And it's strange to hear then that there's no cause and effect. So there's crying, and there's someone dying, or the body isn't moving anymore, you could say that. And then there's no body, there's just sitting here and crying. And we assume like there's happening something before, and the crying is because of that. There can be crying. It's crying. Crying is happening, and that's everything. That's strange to hear. It's not that you have to believe like, oh, it's like that, but it's completely out of the story. So this is talking about something that has nothing to do with the story, because when there's no me, there's no story, there's no time, and there's no distance. So that's completely out of the normal way of thinking. It's a suggestion about, hey, so, oh, it's another possibility.
Yes, but the other times I don't cry. Or if
Oh,
you say a funny story, perhaps I laugh, but
mm,
otherwise I don't laugh.
yeah,
So it seems very connected,
yeah,
because I don't laugh anytime.
yeah,
I laugh if I
yeah,
hear or think
yeah,
a funny story, or
yeah,
something
mm,
happen make me laugh, or crying, or whatever. So it's impossible to understand why laughing's coming without reason, but just when a funny story preceded,
yeah,
or crying comes, but just when a
yeah,
person dies.
yeah,
So it's it seems
yeah,
very connected.
yeah. Well, when there's
Mm.
time, when there's living in time, then there seems to be connection, and before and after and all that, because and then hearing, there's no time. So there's everything is when everything is in appearance, then nothing is real. When everything seems real and it's solid and all that, and time, then that's very obvious that there's cause and effect and all that. And this is completely something else. There's no one, but there's also everything is in appearance. So it's this and that's everything. And that this is everything. And there's nothing else than this. So it's new. So that's completely something else as the normal way of thinking in the story, like cause and effect and distance and all that thing. And it's like in that way, it's a complete other possibility, but not so much in the understanding, but somewhere there's something about it, maybe because there's people coming in these meetings or somewhere like, oh, well, most of the time it's not so much about understanding, but about loss. And that's more like, oh, then suddenly that really feeling like this is because of that. And suddenly, oh, is it really because of that? I don't know. It feels a bit mixed, and maybe there can be a loss of that reeling, being sure that there's cause and effect in that strict way. So in that way, it's more about loss than about understanding or believing that's true or things like that. Because it's so the normal way. We're so used. So it's what also is, it's not only a belief in here, so like I understand there's time, but it's so embodied, so that it's lived in that way. So it's not so, but it's shaking this is shaking all those beliefs that there's cause and effect. That's huge, because that's all the time. It's so much how we live, and then suddenly somebody is shaking in that way, and it's like, but that's the normal way. No, there can be there's another possibility. Huh? It's like that. And then how can that be? Because that's so normal and it's so obvious there's cause and effect. And then suddenly, yeah, there can be a shaking of that. And then maybe it's not that strong anymore, or it's even stronger. Maybe can also be, I don't know, it's for everybody's different. It's a suggestion. It's like another possibility. Well, how is that possible? Yeah. That's the freedom, that there's no cause and effect, there's no reason, there's no why. It's what it is. Only that. Laughing. Mhm. And it's also when there's my life and I'm here and all that, there's the dividing that feels like I'm here and you are there, so there's two. And then immediately there's also something going on like there's right and wrong. Maybe I'm not good enough, so I have to fix that or I have to do something about it, and all that whole coloring of that idea that I have to do something about what's going on, and it's my fault or responsibility, all that. There's nothing right and there's nothing wrong. That's also huge because the whole world and whole thinking is about right and wrong in the end, or better and worse, or all that. It should be different. This is not enough. It should be different. So when there's no one, there's no time. There's this, and that's everything. That whole construct about right and wrong is also out of the window. It's what it is. It's very literally innocent. That what is. Somebody say there's no escape. Yeah, it's free fall because that's when there's nothing going on, like trying to fix it or trying to deal or trying to heal or trying to do something about it. It's full on. There's no escape. But the funny thing is, when there's no escape or when there's nothing going on trying to change it, it's not bad or it's not awful. It can be really pain or sadness. But when there's nothing going on trying to saying like, oh, this was so bad or this is awful, but there's really full on sadness, then there's crying and that's it. And then when the crying is there and then there's the table and there's something else. It's not about me. Life is not about me or you or us. There's no us. There's no you or me. Life is walling. It's not I see the wall. There's no center. We assume that there's a center. I am the center. So everything is happening to me. You're the most important person in the world because everything is happening to me. No. It's always what I remember. There was always busy with why is this happening? What can I do about it? And trying to feel good about myself and getting away from pain or trying to fix it or heal it. And when that's not working anymore, you could say that whole construct isn't there. So then there's no getting away from pain or anything. And then suddenly it's like, oh, it's pain, yeah. But it's not awful. I don't want that. No, it's pain. Yeah. It's not accepting it. There's no one you could say it's not being able, but it's not really like that, but not being able to change anything. It's already like that, but then it's more obvious. The suffering is the idea that I don't want this, that I should do something different, that I did something wrong. What should I do? And all being busy with that. And then, oh, wow. And I did this wrong thing and somebody hurt me. So there can be also a suffering, like people are hurting me and it's no justice and it's endless. That's a lot of suffering. And this is completely free of that. There can be pain, but it's not the cause or because of someone or something else. It's pain. And there can be pain, there can be the table. It's not about the life of Rose or the life of someone. There is no life of someone, there is life. And that's everything. There are no points or centers in that, what we assume. That its life is just glass of water, walling. It's that. That's the freedom. And it's everything. There's no choice. And there's nothing wrong with anything. So when there's a feeling, an idea that I can't get it, or all those thoughts are what's happening. We assume that normally we think like there's a content and we understand, and oh, I can't get this. It's only that thought can happen. That's everything. And then there's another thought, maybe, or walling. It's exactly what's going on. It's already complete as it is. There's no certain way. We don't have to look for a certain way or a certain feeling or something. It's everything. It's those thoughts can happen. It's energy. Should like that. Oh, there's someone saying just a story, but it's fascinating that spirituality seems so popular when no one will ever realize anything. But when that feeling that when there's me and I living my life and all that, there's also underneath that, and that's so embodied, that feeling there is something wrong. I did something wrong. There's something wrong, and I'm not good enough. This is not satisfying. There's something missing, and that's coloring everything. So it's not only coloring what's being seen, it's coloring the way the thinking is happening. It's everything. So that spirituality is about fixing. It's also with beliefs like religion and all that. It's like there's something went wrong, the original sin and all that. It's so strong. That's huge. And then there's somebody saying, "Oh, we can fix it. It's about the thinking. When you think in a certain way, then it will be all right." Or when there's believing that it can be healed. So if you do that, then there's a lot of looking at yourself, and then there can be a healing, and there's much more relaxation, and in the end, it will be all right. Then that's huge. That's very tempting to go there because it's so huge that you feel there's something not right yet. There's doing something wrong, maybe, or I'm not good enough. It's not enough. All that. So that hope that one day it will be better is so feeded by spirituality. And it's the the misunderstanding, you could say, that there's someone and that you could change everything and there's something wrong with what's going on. It's about behavior. When there's behavior in that way, it's not that we live in time, so it seems like there's a comparing with something before, and then you can think like it's so convincing. Before I did so much like that, and now I'm much more relaxed. It's so convincing, and there can be a remembering, but the remembering is very like a certain way, and all those other moments you forget maybe. So it's endless. It's huge, that belief, and it seems to confirm all the time. And this is about death, the death of that whole identity, that you can fix something, you can do something about it. There's no control. That can be frightening. There's nothing in your hand. You can't do anything. It's nothing in your hand. Well, when there's something going on that really feels awful, like being sick or um, no, something went wrong or something like that. And it's normally when there's daily life, it's like, yeah, it's easy. Yeah, no, I can accept that. It's what it is. But suddenly it's like rough. It's going, there's something going on that really, no, it's very strong. So then that whole belief, like trying to fix it and trying to control and all that, that can be there. There's no one, not happening to someone. And there's no time, so there was nothing before. That's the freedom. Just this, sitting. The table is not only sitting, because sitting seems like it's always about me and how I deal with things. No, it's not about you. It's not about dealing with things. There can be sitting, the table, streets, feelings. It's everything. So there's no difference between that body and streets. Nothing is more important than anything else. That's the freedom.
Hi, Roes.
Hi.
Yeah, hi. I'm just wondering, living in the story or in the time just happens. So why should we discover that it's not like this? Why should we see that?
Why should be? Oh, it's frozen, I think. Well, what? There's no why. When there's that suddenly that being able to abstract, then suddenly there seems two. Like there's my mother and I am here, and that whole idea about there's something gone wrong, and there's suddenly that oneness isn't there so much. It seems like it's lost. That oneness, that nothing is going on, and then there's suddenly two, and I have to behave, and that in and out. When there's really little chill, I think there's more in and out. So there's something going on, and then it's just oneness, and then suddenly there's the mother coming in, and there's two, and then it's like that. So in that way, there's no why. It's just like that. Oh, she's gone. That idea that there's something wrong is so embodied, that's so strong and feels so real, that there's something gone wrong, I'm not good enough, that's because of, and then there's some circumstances that are there, and it's so strong and convincing. It's so convincing. It's amazing that it's confirming itself all the time. And then there's coming to this kind of meetings with here or somewhere else, and then there's no confirming of that whole construct of that whole living in time, and there's not seeing someone, so that it's not confirmed, so that in that way, and there are no answers and no direction and all that, so that's falling apart. There can be, or it's shaking or all that. So the energetic part of these meetings is that there's no confirming and no talking in confirming of the story, and there's not seeing someone, so that whole construct is just falling apart, but because it needs confirming all the time, so it's exhausting also, that it's just going on and going on. When there's nothing confirming, it falls a bit apart or more apart, I don't, it's different. And there's leaving with nothing, and then can suddenly be, oh, is that class? It's that, oh, is it that simple? Yeah, it's that simple. And normal also. Just that. And that's already, and that's everything. It's not, we are looking for a certain feeling or a certain revelation or something like that. It's much more simple. And the strange thing is also, and the funny thing is, and the stunning is when everything is lost, it's not only fun, it's what it is, but it's stunning. It's like, oh, life is that like that. It's joy. It's full on. Okay, there, there's a chat. So no thought can be true. None of them. Not even the thought I see the world or life is moving. It's not about true or not true. We are so into like a thought has a content and I can believe it or not believe it. I'm sorry. It's it's a thought, and we are so much taking it home and the content and being busy with that. It's not about true or not true. It's only a thought. It's that thought can come and there's something saying and that's and then it's gone and there's something else. Not then, but in that way. So because then if you see a thought is not true or true, then there's busy with, oh, I think this, oh, it's not true. Then it's the same story again. It's their thoughts. There's nothing wrong or right with thoughts, but it's just that. Nothing more than that. There's no importance, no meaning. We're giving meaning to something. It seems like, oh, this is really, oh, I'm thinking this is really important. Although that's also a thought. It's just amazing how thoughts can seems to live your life. It's energy somewhere. And then there's the table. There is content in, yeah, we can understand a thought like that. It's just that that being able to abstract and to understand what a thought, there is meaning in it, and we understand like has my website. I thought, oh, there's a thought. Oh, there went something wrong. What can I do about it, and all that. So then there's those thoughts, but what we assume of what that those thoughts make happen, that there's something going on that is linked, you could say, or related. Okay, so there can be a content and understanding those thoughts. That still goes on when there's no one. That still goes on, that there's understanding. But there's watching television and understanding what's going on in the movie or something. Well, there's nothing important or and that nothing serious, but it's also there's nothing wrong. That's huge. When there's nothing wrong, then all right. That's huge because that's or everything is already complete. So it's not about some subject like thoughts or is there a world or not a world. That there can be all kind of clarity about things, but it's about there's no one and there's nothing right or wrong. That's and this is not about an understanding. There can be an understanding or clarity about thoughts are just thoughts and nothing going on. Yeah, so what? Yeah. Still me going on with everything. And in a way, you could also say when there's suddenly that obvious that thoughts are thoughts, there's nothing going on, there's no meaning. It can be huge too, of course, because that suddenly that whole meaning and purpose and also can fall away, and that can be huge. Maybe there's still me going on, but not that strong anymore. Can be most of it. What I know, what I see around is like that, and what happened here too is like that thing, that beliefs or those like there's a content or there's meaning or purpose or this is important and all that, that can be less or not so much there anymore. So that's already something that can be a relief, but it's also can also be like devastating because there's nothing in your hand and it's like, oh my god, what is, oh my god, there's no control or something like that. So it's energetic in that way, that it's not only in the mind going on that there's an understanding, but it's also like, oh, it's more than only understanding. But there's what in that first month after that, everything fall away, or not fall away, that didn't rise anymore. All those ideas or beliefs. It felt in the beginning like, call in the story, like they're walking naked on the street. It's like, oh my God, there was nothing I could get hold of, and everything what every thought was, and it wasn't grasped, and it wasn't already going on, and I was like, so it felt like that. So it was a bit like, yeah, I can't remember so much what the feeling was, but not only nice. This is also not about feeling good. Oh my God, no, it's everything. So that what's normally going on, it's the same. So there can be emotions also, they arise, of course, because it's everything. But it's also, there can be a bit like, not really knowing what's going on, but that of dull, or it's everything. And there's no escape. Well, then there's that for a time, yeah? Life is going nowhere, but it's not a knowing of that. It's like that. It's lived. I don't know how to say it. Somebody said all talks are stories, and these are wonderful, meaningless. Yeah, that can be stories, and it can be making clear of things. It doesn't matter if it's clear or not, but that can happen. Yeah. Hmm. I can see the weirdness of the reality of yesterday or tomorrow. It already feels unreal, and that weird reality counts for the whole story. Yeah. Yeah, and then it's suddenly there's the head is in the tiger's mouth in that way. It's like suddenly there's something going on. Oh, wow, yeah. There's something about yesterday and tomorrow. It's not that real anymore. And then suddenly it's like, oh, but it's not only that, it's more. Oh, wow. And then there's something else going on. It's shaking all those beliefs and concepts. You don't even know you have them. And it's like, oh my God. It's like, oh, as the whole world of your world like that. It's like not that stable anymore. So that can feel a bit like, no, not really nice. Or sometimes it's a relaxing, but sometimes it can also be like, oh, whoa. It's like, oh, yeah. It's so different. And I can say also, when that whole story isn't arising, or that isn't, I think it's like, I don't know, 10 years, 12 years, something like that ago, that was just everything didn't go on anymore. But there can be moments that suddenly there's something falling away. I don't even know what it is. And there's some moments and it's like a bit shaky and a bit like, oh, what's going on? And forgetting everything and all that. And then after a while, maybe just getting used to it. And then it's just a bit like normal again. But that still can still go on. Yeah. Ah. Is it interesting to look for what is feeling so empty and lacking most of the time? Did you do self-inquiry? I did that before everything fell away. I did a lot of that. I was busy with that the whole day, trying to feel and trying to work out and trying to know what's going on and do something about it and all that. When that everything was not, when that moment in the sauna, you could say, like it just didn't arise anymore, those questions or that being busy with things. I don't know how to do it anymore. It's so strange. That it's more the loss of that. Now, how can you, how can you ask yourself? I don't know how. So that what when there's an awareness, that's very normal. That you look at yourself, you feel or you see what's going on, and then what is going on? That's energetic. It's just going, and suddenly when that awareness isn't there, it's it wasn't even noticed in the beginning, because when there's no awareness, how can you be noticed that there's no awareness? But then talking with people, then after some month, it was clear that, oh, it's not there anymore. And then the whole thing about questioning yourself, it's also lost. It I don't know how to do it. It's more like that. It's strange. Well, it's how can you question about what is feeling? There can be feeling, yeah, that's obvious. And why is that feeling there? Or what is the it's the strange thing is when I ask that myself, it's already how can you say that? It's the question can be there, but it's fading away very quickly. So then I don't know, something like that. So it doesn't work. And that's also when there's a feeling or something going on, we are so used to grasp it and to feel it. It's mine. Of course, that's very strong. That when there's a feeling, it's very sure, like it's mine. When that's lost, it's not that when there's a feeling, I'm thinking, oh, it isn't mine, so I don't have to do anything. That's also not coming. It's how can you say that? That feeling is there, and that idea of it's mine, it's just lost. But that's crazy because we think it has to be something else now. But it's no, it's that feeling. There's nothing around it. There's nothing grasping it. It's that feeling, and there's nothing coming up like, what is this? What can I do? That's not arising. It's that feeling, and then it's not even felt in the body. Sometimes it is, or not. It doesn't matter. Not being busy with it. I think that's more the most clear. There's nothing busy with it. I can't. It's just not, it's not being able to. It's lost. Well, there's nothing. And the strange thing is, what I thought, then when I'm not doing anything or when I'm not busy with it, everything goes wrong. I was thinking that. As a lot of people are thinking, there's no difference. Whoa, there's no difference. I thought it was the most important thing to be busy with what's going on and how to deal with this and how to change that and what's going on with me and how can I deal, how to behave and all that. And when all those ideas, I mean, busy is lost, it's not there. Nothing is going wrong. It's the same. It was useless. It was so much energy in that. And it's just nothing. Oh my God. Amazing. It doesn't land. It's so crazy to hear. It's like, and it's sometimes it's not even about understanding. There can be, I can't understand what she's saying and all that. And so maybe somewhere it's coming in. You don't know how that's working. I don't know how that's working. And somewhere it's going on. Concepts are not only like when I understand the concept and then I don't need to do it anymore, then it's there. No, it can also be in a complete other way. It's not noticed, and then suddenly it's not that strong anymore. You don't know why and when it happened. It's just going like that. Can be in this meeting or at the bus stop. You don't know. It's suddenly there was something else, and maybe it's even not noticed that moment. And after a while, somebody's saying something to you. You were very busy with something, and somebody's asking you about it, and it was like, oh, I completely forgot. I'm not busy with it anymore. Oh, how did that happen? I don't know. That's the same thing. So you don't need to understand or try to work it out or no. It's much more easy. No homework. Yeah. It can be also when there's a silence. It can be like, yeah, there's just sitting here and yeah, there's nothing going on in this meeting and yeah, it's a bit boring because there's nobody saying anything and we want to be entertained by what's going on and feeling something and sometimes suddenly it's becoming clear and that's nice and oh what's going on here and when there's a silence that can be like no entertaining and suddenly there's feeling a bit like yeah or looking at something else or being busy with something else and that's also what's happening. That's already it. It's being like, a bit like, oh, looking around, thinking about what's going to happen tomorrow and all those thoughts. That's what's happening. So that's it too. It isn't about be clear or understanding this message. It's already those thoughts can happen. Or looking at your hand suddenly. It's hand. It's that already. It's that close. It's that simple. It's that tiny already. We are so looking for something being clear and something for me and what's in it and what can I do with it. It's so simple and tiny and it's hand. It's that or tabling. It's that simple. There's no escape. You can't miss it in that way. You can't miss it because it's everything. So there's a feeling somewhere. There's something scratching. It's that already. So you can't miss it. You can't escape from that unconditional love. Life is that unconditional love, and it's everything. So it's that feeling, or it's hand, or it's drinking water, or it's sitting. You can't. It's everything. It's being in love. And thus the conditioning from childhood comes up when you're triggered. If there's talking in the story, there can be conditioning. Well, I'm not busy with that, so there's no looking at myself. What am I doing? Do I'm that like, oh, is this old, or is it? There's not being busy with what's going on. So there can be, yeah, of course, there can be maybe other people seeing that. I don't know. Yeah. So what? Then there's that reaction in a certain way. Yeah, can be. I don't know. I'm not interested. Also, that's more it. It's like anything can be there. There's no in the way that's saying that's not normally in daily life that there's like saying that to myself, but there's nothing busy with it. So it's when there's a response and there's some behavior some way, there's no one looking at it and seeing myself busy with everything. So when there's the next moment, you could say in that way, it's already forgotten what was going on. So there's not so much remembering. That's less and less. Yeah. It's also a freedom of not being busy to behave. I was always busy how to behave and what's right, and I did it again. What I not wanted. I was always not so much that when there was a meeting with somebody else, and then when was saying something not nice, and I'm not so that assertive to immediately react on what was going on. So I was always working on that. I think that's still the same. It can be still the same. Yeah, and I was like, "Oh God, there's sometimes there's a remembering of that," and then yeah, and then that's like, "Oh yeah, yeah, that's still there. Yeah, so what? Yeah, so what?" Mhm. There's so many ideas. I had also so many ideas about what's better. So there's definitely something going on, like being assertive for me. It was like that's better than being silent and withdrawn and all that. So I should be, and then the whole story started. There can be some characteristics, yeah. Then that's in the story of Rose, it's there. Yeah. Mm. And sometimes it's like, also, yeah, can be. It's not like, it's not accepting it. No, it's like, can be like, no, it's gone again. Yeah. It's very normal. Very, yeah. But what's lost is being busy with it. And the most of the suffering is being busy with things and trying to heal it or trying to do something with it, or there's something not right, or comparing with it. Oh, it's going better and all that. That's gone. Yeah. Oh, there's somebody else. When I'm going to the sauna regularly, do I increase the chance of seeing this? Yeah, because my sauna, you don't know which sauna it was. I won't tell. Mm. It's very important, the sauna. Which sauna? Uh, mm. Yeah, I saw it, Francesca. The connection didn't work. Yeah, you're back again. And I also can say that in September we are going to Sacramento. There will be a weekend, a live weekend. So if there are people maybe in America, please come. It will be really nice to meet people in person. And after that, we have a retreat, a residential in Vietnam. And you can see it on my website. It's a beautiful hotel. It's in the south of Vietnam, an island. We're having a whole week, so that will be really nice to see each other and speak with each other. So you're very much invited to go there. And also somebody saying the spiritual dream light, it's all about awareness. Funny, you say there's no awareness at all. No, that's lost. Yeah. What I see is awareness is part of that me construct, that I'm able to do something with what's going on and I have a free will somewhere. Somewhere there's a free will in it. When there's free will, there's someone. So then there's the story of there's something went wrong or I'm not good enough and I can do something about it. It's always some other day. It's not immediately this is everything. It's always in the future. Someday it will be there if you do this and that. It's never enough. It's assuming that there's something wrong. That's the whole construct of me. And it's very convincing because already there's something going on. This is not enough. I'm not good enough and not yet there and all that. So that's very convincing that you should behave in a certain way or try or do something. There's always something else. This is already everything. It's that the way that faces it's unique. It's new. It's unique. It's that. There's only innocence. That's the wonder of life. There's innocence and it's this. And it can be everything. It doesn't matter what it is. Unconditional love is unconditional. That has nothing to do with a feeling. It's everything. It's a glass of water. It's a car. It's wood. It's everything. It's like that. That's also everything. So it can't. When it's everything, it's not happening to someone. When there's someone, it seems like, oh, I'm a part of it, and I'm looking for the whole, but there never was a part. So in that way, it's a misunderstanding. But it's so embodied and so real that it seems so real that there's something missing, and that so felt can be so felt because it's embodied, and that's so strong. And hearing that it's already complete. There's nothing wrong with anything. It's that that face, that behaving, that flaw, that I don't know what. It's everything. It's already complete as it is. There's nothing wrong or right. It's only in the story of me there's a dividing in right and wrong or this or that or better or worse. There's nothing wrong. It's what it is. This is not leading to something. It's not going anywhere. It's a describing of what is. That's everything. It's you could say it's a suggestion for something that's out of the story. This has nothing to do with the story. The story is me. Me is the story. When that me, that construct that seems very important, that all ideas and that isn't arising, then suddenly it's like, oh, it's already, of course. How how is that possible? That was so overlaid by so many ideas, but that's how it goes. There's nothing wrong with that either. It isn't that has to go away. It's that too, of course. There can be a lot of thoughts, and there can be thinking there's meaning in it, then they're thinking there's meaning in it. Yeah. But it can be feeling frustrated and feeling like there's something wrong because that's so strong. And when that's lost, it's so normal that you forget it that whole struggle was there. It's the normal. It's very normal, easy. Life is very easy. There's no one guiding it. There's nothing about what you want. Life isn't asking, what do you want? it's it's everything. It's just going, and there's whatever it's circumstances or like what's going on. It's that. So it's not about accepting because there's no one. There's no need for accepting. There's no one. So there's no need for anything. It's exactly how it's going. It's that closing the computer is what is happening. So it's already in that closing. It's that. And it can be a sensation, it can be a sound, it can be walling. It's that. It's that tiny, simple sitting is everything already. Thank you.
Thank you, Rose.
Thank you. Hi.